Good morning, everybody. It's Teepa and Matthew. And Matthew, apparently you've been keeping up with some public figures who are coming out, as we say, but not in the more traditional ways we think of coming out. What have you been noticing?
Yeah, Teepa. So I've been noticing a number of people who are normally in the public eye, movie stars, famous people, who are actually coming forth and talking about
Hmm.
that they are living with brain change.
You mean
Uh,
before the very end of their lives when it's revealed that, oh, by the way,
yes, yeah.
like Gene Hackman, and, like situations where it's like, oh, I wish we'd known ahead of time. There might have been something different we could have done. Ooh,
Yeah, no, they're not waiting to the end of this journey. They're
yeah.
actually saying it now. They're coming forth publicly and talking about it, actually going
In
through
the
a full interview.
earlier state where they can actually say, oh, by the way, I'm having some brain changes. Here's what I'm experiencing. Here's where I'm still feeling pretty good about what I can do. Here's where I'm more challenged by what I can do. Oh, but here's the real deal. I had to stop doing the thing I was doing the way I was doing it. I can't do it anymore. So, who were a couple people that you noticed, Matthew?
Yeah, so Danny Glover was one of them that
Oh,
came
yeah.
forth recently and actually talked about it. And then we also, Sully, he was the pilot who landed the American Airlines jet into the Potomac, I believe,
Potomac. Yeah. And
and
people
saved.
got out on the wing and everybody got out safely. And it's pretty remarkable given what's happened around that airport and how that's gone for other folks. I mean, that's pretty phenomenal.
That
And
is,
yet, you know, not too long after that, a few years after that, I guess, oh, quite a few now.
yeah,
Hmm.
well, yeah, it's been
Now
a
that
while.
I'm thinking, it's been a while since that
Yeah,
happened. But now he's starting to develop symptoms of brain change
yeah.
that signal the onset of a dementia. So, our hope is, wow, we're starting to see a break in the stigma. I mean, that sort of like there's a big sheet of ice and it's like cracks are opening up. Here's my greatest concern. Somebody sees one of those folks and says, wow, you don't even look like you have dementia. That is when we ask our friends who are, and we have a lot of friends living with brain change who say, please don't say that. Please, it is so offensive. I can't tell you how offensive it is. It's like saying, so you must be faking it. And it's like, no, I mean, I'm really living with brain change. What does a person living with brain change? And I start many of my talks with a multitude of pictures of people, famous, not so famous, and some of them had dementia, some of them didn't. It's like, you can't tell. How could you tell? I mean, you can't look at someone and say, oh, yeah. What we think of brain change is the stigma. That's that stigma, the old, like, oh, I remember when I visited a nursing home and I was a little girl and there were people like tied in their chairs and they were like, oh, they were barely conscious. And, I remember, I remember tardive dyskinesia and stuff. Well, that was actually the meds we would give people to try to manage their behaviors. And let me just say that's on the rise again. So although we're breaking the stigma, I'm not so sure we're changing our behaviors, changing our attitudes, changing our skill set. And Matthew, that's what we're about because I think the missing piece is okay, so they're willing to come out. What are we doing?
What do
What are
we
we
want?
doing to welcome them into that space? Like, wow, living with brain change. What's what's that like? Is it like not that bad? It's pretty good. I mean, you're living okay, or you're having, or it's really hard and you're really missing your life, and it's really you're struggling a little bit.
And so, Teepa, that brings up a really important question. So, thinking about this idea, whenever somebody's sick, whenever somebody has something going on, our common approach to that person, once we hear that, can not always be helpful. It's that idea of we want to say something, we want to talk to them, we want to be helpful, but how can we be, especially if somebody is living with brain change?
Mhm.
What can somebody do to truly open up that dialogue, that conversation? Because I know just as well as so many of our core team, so many of our amazing teachers at Snow Approach, if you were to say, hey, so we would love to talk with you about your experience, are you open for that? They would say yes. They would actually say
They
yes.
do. They say that a lot.
Ask me questions, please talk to me, I would
Yeah.
love to share this. And so how do you
Yeah.
how would you approach, how would you
So,
start a
so my first thing is, so wow, brain change. How's that been? Okay, or it's been challenging, or it's been absolutely miserable. I mean, how would you rate what's going on for you? My first question is, how are you doing? But I don't mean it in a passing sort of like social. chit chat way. I truly mean. Now, you may have noticed because we're trained to get into a supportive stance as I ask that question. My shoulder is back. I'm not blocking you in. I'm really curious. I'm using a visual cue just in case your verbal information processing could use a little help. It gives you two ways to answer me. You could say, well, I'm about down here. And you don't have to come up with a lot of language because I don't know what symptoms you might be having. We haven't talked about that yet. I know that language center is a very vulnerable area in the brain. I know that memory and recall is a very probable area for some folks. Getting lost, being impulsive, not being able to get started could be initiation, could be an issue. It could be visual field or being able to focus in visually. Maybe emotional sensitivity might be high. So if I'm going to do this, I want to use my initial interaction to sort of start to scope out where is the person still strong in abilities and where are they struggling a little bit so I know how to support. Now, that's me having done this a long time and knowing that when someone's living with brain change, my first responsibility is to sort of sort through what am I noticing so I can be an effective partner in this conversation of any sort, because otherwise I could be causing harm rather than support. And I got to get curious. I want to authentically be curious about, and I want this to be mutually beneficial. I want this to be okay for you and okay for me in this relationship. And so we have something called a dementia cue card, which helps you sort of notice, I'm seeing some things that signal maybe something's changing, and what to do about it. Because there's two sides to the card. There's sort of noticing, and then there's what do you do if you do notice? How do you check that out? What do you do about it? And in one card, we've tried to put some key things. It's not everything, but it's some cues, some prompts, some ways of helping. And then we also have what we would call opportunities, because, we do believe in the art of opportunities. But if you don't know where you even stand, we even have a quiz online to get you tuned into what do you know and what do you think you know and what might you want to learn. And for people who are really invested, we have some courses that you could take. And scholarships are available if that's really getting in your way. I don't have any funding. Well, let's talk about it. And, and then we could go further. But just right now, the whole idea is someone's opening the door and starting a conversation. Be careful that you don't cause more harm than good by what you do in reaction versus response to what somebody has just offered you. I just offered you an opening. And the opening is I'm having to live with brain changes. It's not like a stroke where, it's over, it's done. Here's what I can do, here's what I can't, unless I then develop vascular dementia from that point. But what is happening is I'm learning to cope, and I've decided to share. So we hope that more of you out there decide, well, if you're willing to share, then I should be willing to learn. Because that's our belief. We've got to create a culture where brain changes happen. And when they happen, we could be sad. We could be frustrated that, no, not them. Or we could go, I hate that for you. I really do. So what are two things that you're finding you still enjoy or you still do or you still can do or you'd like to do? And what's the one thing that you're really having a hard time with? I mean, if I really want to be helpful, I want to develop the ability to truly support. So Matthew, any thoughts from you?
Yeah, Teepa, I love that you're bringing in some of the places that we could start, because I think for most of us, when it comes to this conversation, even though it seems like the stigma, the stigma's starting to crack. We're starting to be able to see more people who are coming forth. It's still that idea of where do I start? How do I help? How do I support? What can I do? I think for a lot of us, that question pops up, and unfortunately, there isn't enough out there. There's not enough things to really help us or have to prepare us. And so places to start, places to check on what
Be
do
kind. Okay, it's like, great, be kind. What does that mean? How do you do that? Be a friend. How are you friendly when somebody's like telling them they don't look like they have dementia is not friendly for most of my friends. Just
oh, you
let me
look
say.
good. You look great. I mean, you really don't look like you have dementia. I mean, you look great. That
Mm,
comment, we
yeah.
feel
So
like
what
could,
do you think when you think of somebody looking like they have dementia? I mean, that to me is like, wow, so you're waiting until I really look like I can't be me. And that's when you'll recognize me as having dementia. I'm sorry, it's not like that. I mean, that's not how this is. And that's why we do courageous conversations. That's why we have friends that teach because they're willing to. They've stepped into the light and they're going, it's not my favorite place to be, but I feel like it's my part of the solution that I can offer and I'm willing to do it. And we want to erase that line between having dementia and not having dementia and just talk about, wow, changing brains. We both have them, hopefully, because if mine isn't changing when yours changes, I'm not really offering true support. All right, everybody. For those of you out there who are noticing you're living with changes and you have the right supports around you, great. If what you're noticing is I could use some help with people around me because, people are trying to wrap me in cotton wool or people are reminding me over and over again, remember you have brain changes. It's like, yeah, I got it. I may forget in a moment that I can't remember something, but that doesn't mean I don't know I'm struggling and I don't like it pointed out. And so it makes me angry. Hey, maybe we want to change something rather than trying to change them. Till next time, take care of yourself, take care with your care. And if you are living with brain changes, connect. We're open to the idea. Bye, everybody.
thank you, Teepa. Bye, everybody.